United States Air Force Science and Technology not only leads the Air Force, but really leads our country and the world in promoting relevant science technology advancement.
Today, thousands of American men and women are in the midst of a war zone. Yes, they're better trained and equipped than ever before, but there's always room for improvement. One key organization improving technologies and developing new ones is headquartered here at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio.
The Air Force Science and Technology Enterprise, I like to call it, has really several driving goals, right? Number one, we want to provide the warfighter with technology that meets their immediate needs. Number two, we want to provide them with technology that will meet their far-term needs, right? That means that we're always looking at evolving our current systems, looking at what we have now and making it better. But we're also looking for the revolutionary concepts that might be complete game changers, things like stealth technology, for example, UAVs.
The mission of AFRL basically is we lead the discovery, development, and integration of affordable warfighting technologies in airspace and cyberspace. And so we're the single Air Force agency that looks long range on what the art of the possible is for the Air Force in the future. We have 10 directorates located around the country, including the Air Force Office of Scientific Research, about 40 sites worldwide. And we have about 5,800 government people and 3,900 contractors, so roughly a little over 9,000 folks in the AFRL organization supporting on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
But the number of people involved with the Air Force Research Laboratory's efforts extends far beyond its own people.
When a program manager at the Air Force Office of Scientific Research, for instance, issues a national call in a given area of science technology, faculty members from around the country, laboratories from around the country will respond to the call and look at how their work, their research, can be made relevant to Air Force needs. That's extremely powerful.
Both Congress and other customers within the Department of Defense make use of that power each year with some $4 billion in funding.
About half of that's appropriated for core AFRL work. The other half comes in from customers that have special needs.
Fuel is a huge expense for the Air Force every year.
We use about 200,000 barrels a day.
And along with concern about the growing cost of fuel are those issues related to the impact Air Force use is having on the environment, as well as an increasing need to eliminate our dependency on other countries.
Even though the United States Air Force is the biggest consumer of fuel in the U.S. government, we're a small consumer of fuel compared to other users. So we realize that we want to come up with solutions that are not only important for the Air Force, but which will also entice commercial users as well. We think that if we partner with commercial users, such as the airlines, then we can explore a range of synthetic fuel options.
What we're trying to do in AFRL is develop the science and technology to develop new fuels from these alternative sources to make synfuels.
That development involves what may be a wider range of scientific disciplines than you may think.
You might think we're all chemists and chem engineers. Yes, that's the core. But you are dealing with something that touches many components in an aircraft, deals with the infrastructure, deals with the environment, a wide range of specialties. So it is a very multidisciplinary approach that you have to take to look at fuels.
So you run the engine through
Yes.
the test cycle and
Yes.
then you take it apart at the end?
Yes. We take it apart to study whether, again, we use this for lubricant testing, so we test to see deterioration of the lubricant over a test cycle period of a number of days.
AFRL's fuels branch engineers, like Ted Williams, do more than run the branch's testing programs. There's also a lot of interaction with customers in the field who have engine troubles, and extensive collaboration with other government agencies.
The Air Force Petroleum Office, we work with aerospace industries, chemical industries, obviously sometimes the Navy, the Army, because there's been some push for a single fuel battlefield.
The need for a change in fuel has become more critical in recent years, and the current push for that change has the benefit of teaming past research with today's capabilities.
That'll bring us more efficient production of these materials, and since these are going to actually be manufactured fuels, it gives us the opportunity to work more closely with the industry to produce a better fuel for the future.
Extensive work is being done to create that future fuel. At the same time, a near-term solution is being tested utilizing one of the cleanest, safest energy sources, natural gas. There is one catch. Natural gas, when converted to liquid fuels through what is known as the Fischer-Tropsch process, may be too clean.
And that has a lot of benefits, but we have legacy systems that are actually designed for a dirtier fuel. So we have concerns that a very clean fuel might cause issues with some of our materials. So as part of our qualification, we decided to go with a 50-50 blend because that was the quickest, simplest way to introduce the fuel, get it certified, and make sure you don't have any of those issues. We did the engine tests out at Oklahoma City. We then moved on to Edwards Air Force Base, worked at the Flight Test Center at Edwards. Started off with some ground engine tests. They did some basic airplane checks, and then they flew a series of flight tests.
And AFRL teams were there throughout, keeping an eye on results with their mobile engine test unit.
It's the TERNL, the Turbine Engine Research Transportable Emissions Lab. This has a lot of capability, and you're only seeing a part of it. The rest of it is in that truck over there that pulls this, and that whole truck is full of instrumentation.
Everything was extremely successful, and the aircraft was returned back to Edwards. One of the engines was taken off the aircraft and is currently at Tinker Air Force Base undergoing inspection and testing.
Getting the 50-50 fuel blend into operational use requires a lot more work. But Bill Harrison says the lab is on track to meet a timeline laid out by Air Force leaders.
Secretary of the Air Force has set some very clear direction. Certify the fleet for a 50-50 blend of Fischer-Tropsch synthetic fuel by 2010. Very aggressive. Second is to be able to use 50% of the fuel from synthetic sources by 2016. Another very aggressive goal.
In this specific lab, we have 3 different major programs designed to run fuel, different types of fuel, rocket fuel, jet fuel, to see how it reacts to very high temperatures.
And we're continuing the research right now to see, are there really any issues with us moving to a fully synthetic fuel?
This whole thing's set up to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, long duration.
What we found so far is there's a few minor issues, and we think we should be able to move down that path very smartly.
We have a number of different ways that we heat it, all pertaining to how the aircraft would heat the stuff.
We can do nothing and just watch the price of oil go up and down and the impacts that has to the Air Force. But we can take an active role and apply this and give our top decision makers alternatives. And that's a challenge too.
Although today's ground troops look nothing like warriors of ancient times, research tells us one thing remains constant. That's the amount of weight an individual carries into battle. Reducing weight and adding capability are challenges faced by teams here at the Air Force Research Laboratory's Materials and Manufacturing Directorate.